Hello and welcome to another week of A Heart for Scripture. This week you're going to be reading in Hebrews again and come across what some people call the Hall of Faith chapter. It's like the Hall of Fame, but better. This is example after example of people in Scripture who are commended because of their faith in the Lord. I notice often when going out to share the gospel with people that faith is a word that trips a lot of people up. And the reason is because most people think of faith as just wishful thinking or a shot in the dark hoping to hit a target. They can think of faith as something like hoping in the Easter Bunny or Santa to come on Christmas. But faith, we're told, it's not believing with no evidence. Actually, the author of Hebrews, he tells us in chapter 11, the very first verse, what faith is. He says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Faith is a surety. It's a firm foundation. It's an assurance of things not seen. It's almost like when I sat down in this chair, I had faith that it would hold me. Subconsciously, I maybe came and I looked at the legs of the chair. I looked at what the chair looked like. I could tell that it was big enough to hold me, and I plopped down in it with the fullness of my weight, knowing that this would hold me secure. I'm not sort of sitting into it or slouched down with my feet on the floor trying to hold myself up, but I am fully pressed into this chair with all of my weight. I have faith that this chair will hold me up. And in the same way, we are called to have faith in God like this. We're called to put all of our trust in the Lord, not holding anything back. And then we're also called to have a confidence in the Lord, a surety that He really will hold us up. I have faith that God will deliver me from trouble. He'll deliver me from all evil, and He'll deliver me ultimately from my sin. So I can have a fullness of faith in Jesus Christ that on the day of judgment, He will deliver me from God's wrath when I put my faith in Him. That's what faith means. It's assurance in that, a confidence in that the Lord wants to give to His people. I love that we are able to have faith in the Lord because it's not banking on something that I do. It's banking on the promises of God. I'm saying God, who has been faithful from generation to generation, will be faithful to me. The reason I love this chapter in Hebrews 11, is it's so fun to read through all the people who had faith before us. And what's really been fun to read through this chapter is we see so many of these people in stories we've read all throughout the year. So you'll remember as you read about Moses and Abraham and Isaac and the people of Israel and all of the things that they did, the ways that they had faith in God's promises. You'll also remember their backstories of how often they failed. They often weren't great people or good examples in what they did with their lives. You can think of Abraham and how he gave his wife away, saying that it was his sister so that he wouldn't be killed when he went to Egypt. Or how Moses sinned against God and he wasn't able to enter the promised land. David had this affair with Bathsheba, or Samson and Delilah. There's so many examples of the failure and doubt, these people doubting the Lord, yet they rebelled against Him, and they're commended here because of their faith in God. Their faith is commended not because of their character, yet because of who they trusted in. They put their faith in the Lord. So this week, you may be aware of more of your failures than successes. You may be aware of your bad circumstances rather than good providences in your life. But put your faith in God. Trust Him and He will bless you for it. Regardless of failures in the past, trust in Him with fresh faith today. The author of Hebrews, he ends chapter 11 telling us that these people are commended for their faith, yet most of them did not receive the promises that they were given to them. They only got to see glimpses of what God actually promised them. So how much more reason do we have in the Lord to put our faith in Him and trust Him this week, as we don't just look forward to promises that God has given us, but we actually get to look back and see how the Lord already fulfilled promises in the sending of His Son, Christ. May the Lord bless you this week as you read His Word and give you fresh faith in Him.